astrophysicist searched a lifetime trying to understand the stars, exploring the space between the planets Jupiter and Mars, learning all about the cosmos with a passion for outer space. Her enthusiasm for the universe appeared across the contours of her face. Her visage glowed, her eyebrows raised. She gesticulated more when she spoke to eager listeners and took them on her virtual tour. She put a picture on display and said, "Let me teach you about gravity, about the power of the sun. Let me talk to you about the galaxies and how to see it all as one. How our world connects to other worlds, how starlight meets our eyes, how this translates to everything above us in the skies, about black holes and shooting stars and how the moon orbits the earth, about the Milky Way and constellations, how each piece of stardust still gives birth." And from the crowded lecture hall, a biologist raised her hand, asking, "Have you been to space at all?" "No, I've only seen it from dry land. I've read the books and seen the stars through these amazing telescopes, but I've never been to outer space or touched and seen these things up close." The biologist paused, sighed and thought and pondered a little more. And without procrastinating further, she said, "I think I can take you on that tour. I think I've been to outer space, but in another way. I'd like to take you to our inner space and show you round someday. You see, I'm a cytotechnologist. I explore the wonders of the human being. I look at cells through microscopes and have a different way of seeing. I can show you images which aren't dissimilar from yours. I can describe the things you talk about within your diagrams and virtual tours. Our cells are much like outer space, the nucleus like our sun, and talk about the way things gravitate and show how everything is one, how everything's connected. Our black holes are planets just like Mars. Perhaps by looking deep inside ourselves, we'll better understand our stars. We may not need to look up into outer space. Perhaps what we've all been looking for is here within the human race. Perhaps our black holes are our souls, our hearts and minds, our earth and moon. Perhaps our eyes and ears are telescopes and we simply need to zoom inside ourselves for answers, to learn how we came to be. Maybe we'll learn more about our space if we search internally." The scientists shared a detailed image of the workings of a simple cell. It looked like space in many ways, and it resonated well. The astrophysicist said to the biologist, "Now I feel envious and slightly blue. All this time I've been looking for what you've found inside of you." Then suddenly, out of nowhere, an urban geographer raised her hand, and she spoke to make a point this time and not to understand. "I too think I can say something about what you hope to learn. I can show you diagrams and pictures which reveal the data which you yearn. When I see your diagrams, I see towns and cities too, and all the stars and planets are not dissimilar from me and you. All the cells and molecules are not all that different from us. All those meteors and shooting stars, quite like the bike, boat, car, train and bus, moving from the nucleus we call houses to work in towns and cities close to home. Like meteors and asteroids, we're like small satellites as we roam. Our neighborhoods like galaxies, our roads like veins and vessels, our homes like many tiny cells in which people multiply and nestle. The nucleus, the parent cell, like mitosis producing sons and daughters, or in space like stellar nurseries, the whole thing flows like river water. She showed the astrophysicist a drone image of an urban space, and suddenly those contours re-emerged upon her face. "You've shown me outer space," she said. "It's among us on the ground. Everything I want to learn is here and all around." And then before the lecture ended, a spiritualist stood up. She said, "I want to give you something which will fill up your empty cup. Imagine you had no eyes to understand these things, and what if your ears stopped providing the sounds of life as nature sings? And what if we lost our sense of touch and everything was numb? What if we were isolated from everything and everyone? What do we have to learn from? How do we quench our thirst? To learn about our inner selves and our entire universe. How do we navigate our way around the space in which we live? What do we have to help us? What fulfillment will life give?" The answer to all these questions in our search to understand these things is to explore deep within our souls. This space may teach us everything, whatever creed or colour, race, religion or belief. We have these brains inside our heads to hope, desire and find relief. We have imaginations, we can picture space and time. We can imagine what a cell looks like. We can float across these blurry lines. We can find fulfillment from our inner worlds instead. Step into our space vessels and play out our journeys in our heads. I want to show you my picture of my imaginary spaces, and like yours, it's not dissimilar from these inner, outer living places. I'd like to give you my diagram, but what she gave did not exist. Now imagine what I might have given you. Look inside and tell me what you've missed. The astrophysicist then stopped talking. She sat down and closed her eyes and took a journey into outer space, took her rocket to the skies, explored the constellations which her mind now knew so well, hopped from Earth to Venus and through galaxies she fell. Her mind was now achieving everything it had ever dreamed, her body now in outer space, her universe opened up and gleamed. If you can't achieve your wishes, if your hopes are cloaked in doubt, discover the world inside yourself. Explore everything inside out.